Capital Views is sponsored by Northrim Bank, Alaska Oil and Gas Association, ConocoPhillips, and Linden.
Hi, I'm Tim Bradner with Alaska Legislative Digest, and welcome to Capitol Views. And welcome today to Representative Kai Holland, District 9, newly elected to the legislature this year for his first term in the State House. So thanks for joining us, Kai.
Thank you for the opportunity this morning.
So Kai, you represent District 9. Maybe you could describe just where in Anchorage that is.
Sure, thanks. District 9 is sometimes a hard one to describe because it kind of reaches up and around many other districts. It starts actually in the Basher-Stuckagin Heights area between the South Muldoon area and the Chugach State Park, and then runs across the upper hillside, including Glen Alps and Bear Valley. And then at Huffman, it becomes really the main area that encompasses the Rabbit Creek area, Potter Valley, but then extends all the way to Girdwood and Whittier. So I've got this amazingly long, diverse district that goes everywhere from a port and a ferry system and a railroad up to the hiking trails and the biking trails of the Chugach State Park.
That's interesting spread of geography there. Kai, could you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Yeah, I was born and grew up on the hillside, so I'm actually working in an area that I've been in, most all of my life. I was gone. I got an engineering degree and worked for many years in industrial-related manufacturing, mining, construction, and then into oil and gas work. And in the last 10 years, I spent most of my time now in economic development, specifically focused a lot on entrepreneurship, innovation, and what I view as helping accelerate the emerging sectors of our economy and diversifying our economy and creating opportunities for future Alaskans.
Any particular form of new technologies or project economic development projects that you're interested in right now?
Yeah, I have been somewhat agnostic in terms of supporting everything from local food systems to manufacturing different products for the outdoor industry to energy technologies. Right now, I would say if I could focus more on one, it would be the emerging energy technology sector. We have an amazing opportunity both to solve the challenges in Alaska of high costs of energy in rural Alaska and the uncertainty around the cost and availability of energy in the rail belt, to really lean into energy technologies, but then to use that as a way to build up the know-how, the products, the businesses that we could be exporting to the rest of the world that has the same challenges we do. So energy tech is a really fascinating and I think amazing opportunity for Alaska, including being an energy exporter of hydrogen in the future.
Well, energy is a hot topic this year, particularly with the natural gas challenges that Anchorage faces. Any thoughts there as to what we can do to make ourselves more secure in natural gas or energy reliability in the south central area?
Yeah, the future of our energy will be one where we learn how to blend different types of energy, whether that is a certain amount that continues to come from a base load from natural gas, but also blending in future expansion of wind, solar, maybe even tidal power, and developing the grid that will allow us to move those electrons around from wherever they have to be get produced at the moment to wherever they're needed. So that area of grid capability and resilience and reliability is a backbone that I think will unlock a lot of opportunities. But I think the long-term challenge is not only to ensure that we have reliable power, and there are some projects going on now that I think are helping us move a little more confidently in that direction. But I also want us to focus really in a very strategic way on reducing the cost of power or reducing the amount that it increases, because our high cost of power is a barrier to families and their ability to pay their bills. It's also a barrier to businesses wanting to locate here. So we need to not only work on reliability of our power, but also the affordability of that, and maybe even moving towards more affordable. The NREL study that we could get into in a longer discussion kind of paints the picture of how we can actually move towards a pathway of reducing the growth or the amount that we pay and still have the reliability we want.
Okay, what committees are you on? Just based on this conversation, I can imagine a couple of them.
Well, I would like to be on all of the committees. I have a bit of a garbage pail brain. I enjoy all of these topics, but I'm on community and regional affairs, state affairs. Also, I think most importantly, I'm on the energy committee in the House, and then also the Joint Armed Services Committee. But the energy committee, I'm co-chairing with Representative Mears.
Are there any, in terms of the Energy Committee, are there any particular, just thinking big picture again, any particular issues the committee is going to focus on this?
You know, yeah, we've begun by really trying to look at and build on the work that was done in the last legislature, particularly a lot of focus on the grid capability and the emerging work of the reliability Rail Belt Reliability Council. And we've also then moved into looking at the natural gas supply in Cook Inlet and the work going on there to provide some royalty relief, but also to begin to advance some projects around potentially LNG imports. At this point, we're also trying to bring equal focus to the statewide issue of the high cost of energy in rural Alaska. And we just had a hearing yesterday, actually looking at some of the IPPs. And interestingly, to me, the focus here is that there's much of the work going on in rural Alaska to integrate IPPs, independent power producers, excuse me, into the baseload capability that are giving us tools and knowledge that we can use here in our urban rail belt. So we're actually going to find in the future there's a greater connection between the rail belt and rural energy challenges. So we're exploring how we can help ensure that the projects that we need have the support and the regulatory environment to move them forward. It's an exciting time for Alaska.
I agree with you. I think anytime there's a challenge and a need, it sort of brings forth a lot of creative thinking and entrepreneurship among people. So
Mhm.
I'm amazed at some of the things that are being brought forth and being developed right now. And you're probably right in the middle of that. Is there anything just sort of in your personal work outside the legislature, anything you're working on or involved in that might fit into that category?
Well, most of the work that's been, my community focused work in the last, few years has been about building up our innovation ecosystem. And so I've been working on a number of projects that are helping entrepreneurs find the support that they need with programs funding. And I'm sponsoring bills and will continue to look for opportunities for this legislature to support innovation and entrepreneurship and economic development through that innovation.
Well, it's a busy time, and we sure need it in the energy sector. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Representative Holland, and look forward to continuing the conversation.
Very good. Thank you for the time today.